Hey guys, welcome back to another What's for Dinner. Today I have 3 recipes for you. 2 of them I've never made. One of them was the pizza. Can't believe I've never made pizza before. The second one was a beef and broccoli lo mein. That was amazing. And the third was a pork tenderloin with bacon, mushroom, and onions inside. Also delicious. I've made that one before, probably 3 or 4 times. I hope you enjoy these recipes, and they'll be linked in the comments. Not the pizza, because that's pretty easy, but everything else will be. First up, we have a homemade pizza. The dough, I thought that I showed you guys, but I got it from ShopRite. It was just like that pre-made dough in a bag. It wasn't like one of those ones in the crescent roll things. It was in a bag. And then I used some Classico pizza sauce and mozzarella cheese. I try to put lighter sauce on my side because I thought that sauce hurt my stomach when it might be gluten that hurts my stomach. I'm not sure, still trying to figure all that out, but this was amazing. It made me super sick the next day because, again, something is making me sick. I don't know what it is, but this was delicious. And I just baked it in the oven for 18 minutes. Actually, I think I did it for 15. The bag said 18 minutes, but I put it, I think, at 450 degrees for 15 minutes on the bottom rack of the oven. And look at that. It looks so good. It was amazing. I'm not even kidding. It was the best pizza I've ever had. Next up, we have beef and broccoli lo mein. We start off with a 1/4 cup of low sodium soy sauce, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce, if that's how you say it, 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I did half of that, or a little bit less, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. I also put in some garlic powder because it called for 3 cloves of garlic and I didn't have that much left in my little jar there. After I mixed the sauce together, I set it aside. I had already put on a pot of water that was coming to a boil, and I added in some spaghetti to it before I started to cook up the meat. I'm going to add in a little bit of olive oil into my pan, and then add in all of my meat. This meat comes pre-sliced. It says stir fry on it, and I get it from Walmart, and it cooks up super fast, like literally within minutes. So I love that I don't have to slice anything, and it tastes good. So we're going to cook that up some. I'm gonna add a bag of broccoli into the microwave and cook it for 5 minutes. I could do fresh broccoli, but that's what I had, so that's what I was doing. I drained the meat a little bit. I'm sure I didn't have to add olive oil. That since I have non-stick pans, I probably could have just cooked the meat and not had to drain it. I'll have to try that next time. And then I just added in the rest of that jar of garlic, and I'm going to stir that around. I'm going to add in the sauce and let that cook so it thickens up some. Once the pasta is done cooking, I'll drain it and then add it directly into the pan and stir that around. Get all the sauce incorporated into the noodles. And then I'm going to end up putting some into a bowl for my son because he doesn't like broccoli, so, accommodate the children. And then I will drain the bag of broccoli and add broccoli into the mix as well and stir it all around. And then I'll show you what it looks like. This was probably my favorite meal of the week. It was so good. Only 3 of us were home for dinner this night and we ate the whole thing. It was so good. Okay, last up is a stuffed pork tenderloin. We're going to start off by dicing up 1 onion. Next up, we're going to chop up, I believe, 3 pieces of bacon. I'm going to end up linking the recipe below. I'm just kind of going off memory. I know that I added more because I was trying to make extra because I realized that when I opened the pork that it came in 2 different tenderloins, which I didn't know that happened. So I'm just going to chop up the bacon and put it to the side. And then put everything away that I am done using. Wash off my cutting board. The recipe says to cut off the silver skin, so that's what I'm doing here. That makes the pork pretty tough. I'm just cutting off some of the fat pieces because it's gross. Then you just kind of cut a slit into it and open it up without cutting through it. I almost cut through it. I'm going to grab some saran wrap and place the saran wrap over the entire thing after I put this other pork away. And then get my meat tenderizer and pound it out. Once I'm done pounding it out, I'm going to start cooking the filling. And you cook this in a cast iron pan. You start by cooking up the bacon. You add in your onions. And then add in your mushrooms. You add in some salt and pepper. I want to say it was a 1/4 teaspoon and a 1/2 teaspoon of each. And then kind of let that cook down. You're going to add in some garlic. Again, however much is going to be in the recipe that I link below. I always do 2 scoops or 3. That's just what I do normally. And then you're going to transfer all of that filling into a bowl. You're going to spoon the mixture into the middle of the pork tenderloin, however much you want. I doubled the recipe, so I have way more. You're going to roll the pork up, and then you're going to secure it together with some toothpicks. Make sure you count your toothpicks and know where you put them, because after you cook it, I promise you, you're not going to know where they are. You're going to have to feel around for them. You'll see me struggle later because I didn't count my toothpicks and I was trying to make sure I had all of them out. In the same cast iron pan, you're going to put a little bit of oil in there, and then you're going to sear your roll on all sides. Once you have it all seared, you're going to transfer it into the oven and cook it for 20 minutes, I think. I'm terrible at this. I don't remember the recipe, but it's going to be in the recipe link below.
Two more. Probably should be good because there's only 3 of us. You're going to do...
last one.
Once it's done cooking, you're going to take it out of the oven and then transfer it over to a cutting board and remove all of the toothpicks that you placed in there before. Once you take all the toothpicks out, you're going to slice it however thin or thick you want. It might come apart a little bit. Just flip it back together. Maybe if I put a little bit more filling, it might have stayed together better. I don't know. Again, I've made this a couple different times. It's been good each time. And this is how our plate turned out. We served it with some mashed potatoes, and it is always delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below if you end up trying one of these recipes. If you do the beef and broccoli. That was the best one. All of them are good, but that's the best. Don't forget to subscribe.